Good to go.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I think we are skipping the, well, first let me turn things over to Melina to open the meeting.
Good morning, everyone. To begin, we note the following. We are joined by Morris Peters, representing the Director of the Budget, and Chris Curtis, representing the Commissioner of Taxation and Finance, participating via video conference from the Division of Budgets Conference Center at the Capitol Building, room 131 in Albany. We also have, B. Gonzalez participating via video conference from HCR's office in Syracuse at 620 West Erie Boulevard, Suite 312. And Hope Young Watkins participating via video conference from HCR's office in Buffalo at Electric Tower, 535 Washington Street, Suite 105. In accordance with the Open Meetings Law, notice of our locations have been made public, and the public has the right to attend and observe the proceedings from these locations. We'll now do a roll call for each of the meetings and use those votes as items are considered unless a board member indicates an intent to vote differently or need to recuse. To open the meetings of the Affordable Housing Corporation, the Housing Trust Fund Corporation, I ask for motions and seconds to call to order, consider each agenda item, and later adjourn the meetings.
So moved.
Second. Thank you. I'll now ask for individual votes from the members of the AHC board and HTFC board.
Aye.
Mr. Peters?
Aye.
Mr. Curtis?
Aye.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Ms. McEwen?
Aye.
Ms. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Young Watkins?
Aye.
To open the meetings of the AHC Audit Committee, HTFC Audit Committee, AHC Governance Committee, and HTFC Governance Committee, I ask for motions and seconds to call to order, consider each agenda item, and later adjourn the meetings.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. For the individual votes of each committee member, we'll accept the previous votes. The meetings are officially open.
Great, thank you. So I don't know if Roseanne joined.
That may be her. The call.
Hi, I'm here. I joined by phone.
Okay, good morning. Do you want to give a report or should we skip that?
I think we could just jump in. It would be the same report as we did for HFA.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Okay, next item, approval of the minutes of the prior meetings, which will be deemed approved absent any corrections or objections. Item 3, annual financial statements, audit report for fiscal year ending March 31, 2025. And the presentation this morning, Jeremy Smith from Lumsden and McCormick.
He's going to go first, and then Ernst & Young will follow when they're done.
And then Ernst. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Stacy Mickle, the treasurer. I would just like to take the opportunity to introduce Jeremy Smith with Lumsden McCormick. They have been our auditors. I think this is the third year of our audit with the firm. And so I'd like to turn it over to Jeremy to present the results of the audit for this fiscal year. We did have a PowerPoint presentation or a PDF that was sent around of the PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if that's coming on the screen. Do you know? Or are we just sharing it on their laptops, Alina?
Leticia, are you able to share the PDF?
I am. Just give me 1 sec.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we go.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to go through this brief PowerPoint presentation. So if I go through anything too quick, just please let me know, stop me, ask any questions. I'll go to slide 1. This kind of describes a general summary of the audit reports. So first report in the whole financial statements basically states that your job is to ensure the financial statements are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Our job as auditors is to express an opinion. We issued a clean, unmodified opinion. That's the best opinion we can issue. The one thing to note from this year versus last year under that we had a bullet for an emphasis of matter paragraph because you guys remember we had those 7 HUD audits from 2015 through 2019. which obviously are outstanding for almost 10 years. But they were questioning roughly $750 million of expenses. Those all been cleared. Happy to report, I think we, as of January, all cleared. So we were able to remove that from the report as well as the financial statement. So that was great to see. We also do a report in accordance with New York State Public Authority law regarding our investments. So we do some testing of various months throughout the year, and I have to report we didn't have any issues. And then we didn't have a material weakness letter, but we will talk about some upcoming accounting standards in a couple slides. And then on slide 2, we'll kind of go over the communication, those in charge and governance. So this is just a quick bullet point, required communication to you as a board. We didn't have any audit findings or issues. There are some significant accounting estimates that we kind of evaluate. The allowance on the mortgage and interest receivables, net on the balance sheet, once we get into the next couple slides, you'll see it's only about $3 million, but it's actually to about $2.7 billion in mortgages that we have out there. But we basically have an allowance against the whole thing for, in case we don't collect any of that. There is a net realizable value on our properties that held for sale from our buyout and acquisition programs. That's only about 2.6, but it is a estimate as well. Accrual for compensated absences. There was a new accounting standard this year adopted related to GASB 101. Didn't have any impact on our financial statements, but that just changed how we accrue for vacation and sick time payouts. And then the actuarial calculations with the other post-employment benefits was basically our share of retirees' health insurance, roughly at 90%, I believe the amount is. And then the pension system as well, which we get the calculations from New York State. We had no adjustments, so good job once again by the business staff. So if we go to slide 3, these are upcoming accounting standards. They don't really have too much of a financial impact, so that's good for you guys. 102 just has additional disclosures in the footnotes. We already kind of have one related to our PBCA program. I know we finally got that extended out through 2028 versus those 6-month extensions every year. This isn't just, we bring that up because that is our main source of operating revenue. So if we lost that, that would obviously greatly affect our operation. So that's already kind of mentioned. I don't think we'll have any other additional disclosures there. And then 103 is just an update in the financial statement presentations and affects some of what we actually include in the management discussion analysis that we prepare for you, as well as move some schedules around in the financial statements, but no real financial statement impact. And then 104, we don't have any of these right to use lease assets or IT arrangements. So if we do, we'll have to present those separately, but as right now we don't have any. So slide 4, we'll kind of get into the numbers and just highlight some of the significant changes from the prior year. Cash and investments, you kind of combine those two, they're down about $9.6 million. You'll see on the next slide, our surplus or loss, was about 16. So it's mostly operations. Government grants receivable and awards payable kind of go hand in hand just due to timing. We usually pay those out. We'll talk a little bit more why the awards payable went down a little bit more than the grants. If you look at 2023, that amount was 67 million. So we're starting to bring that back down just due to timing. Properties held for sale, like I said, that's the buyout and acquisition program. We sold 21 properties in the past year, so that's why it's down about half. We only have about 15 left on the books, so we'll sell those off when we get a chance. And then the mortgage and interest, those are up about 400,000 from the prior year. That's due to we had 85 new loans this year. Prior year, we had 65 new loans. Accounts payable, accrued expenses, just timing at the end of the year, as well as the awards payable. Now, it went down 20 million because we had more Hurricane Sandy, Irene expenses at the end of 2024, about $10 million. We'll see in the next couple slides as well. That program's starting to dwindle down, so obviously we're just having a lot less awards and expenses coming out. The pension system, out of our control, that's ERS, the New York State local retirement system. That is a year behind. The percentage did go up a little bit. It's at 93.88% now. 23. which would have been measured at 3/30/23 for 24 year, that was actually 90.78. So it did go slightly better. We'll see how this year's done. It'll probably issue about an August timeframe. But you know, a lot of it's driven by the market. So we'll see how it is at that point in time. OPEB, we did switch actuaries. So there are differences in assumptions. That's in the back of the schedule. But, you know, overall, it went up about $2 million. I think it's mostly due to our health insurance costs. I mean, I think everybody's well aware, you know, it's consistently going up 10% each year. So that's mostly what it's driven. Other liabilities is up primarily due to the sale of those properties. The properties held for sale, those 21 properties, still about $11 million. So they're on the books for about $2 million, but we put the $9 million in unearned right now until we completed all the paperwork contracts for those. And then it'll be recognized as revenue. And then restricted, that's just our federal and state grants, just due to timing. 171 of that is in federal, and then another 276 in state. And we'll go on the next slide. So overall, obviously our PBCA revenue is our largest source of revenue for operating. It is down slightly, and it's mostly due to timing. As we see in the next couple slides, we did issue a lot more contracts this past year, and the revenue is a lot higher. So it is mostly just due to timing. Same for the fees from other federal programs, and I'll talk about this a little bit on the next one. Our Housing Choice Voucher Program, we actually had 13 payments in 2024 and only 11 in 2025. So that was about $4.8 million. So if you kind of swing that, it's a $9.6 million swing there. So that actually did increase about $600,000. And we'll kind of bring that up once we talk about the operating income as well. So that's really, and that's going to have the same comment on the next slide too, because we'll see how that had an impact. But overall, salaries and wages are down $1 million. We did have a 3% increase, but then we did have some change in turnover from replacing some higher cost employees with newer employees, which are starting lower starting salaries. But also that does include about $800,000 increase in a reimbursement for our grants that we get that pay for some of our admin costs. So that's the biggest reason. So factoring that in, we're about down $200,000 in salaries. Payroll taxes, that's mostly that includes that actuarial calculations related to OPEB and pension expense, which is down about $500,000. Professional service contracts, just up more expenses related to the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and then other operating expenses up 3.9%. Nothing really out of the ordinary in there, just our typical inflationary expenses. Operating income, as you can see, yep.
So rather than going line by line, maybe just hit the highlights with respect to the bigger variances, and we can bust through these a little quicker.
Oh, sorry. Oh, can you repeat that?
Real quick, and you went through a big number fast. What was the number on the investment earnings that went up? I forget. So I couldn't find that.
Investment earnings. It's down in the non-operating. That's up $4 million.
Okay.
Interest rates are high.
No, I think it's great. I think that Michelle and her team does an amazing job on the investment side in terms of managing up. I mean, they're very active in the market in investments, and that's great. So anyways,
just to be clear, our investments for the trust fund are handled by New York State Tax and Finance.
Then never mind on that comment. But anyways, I've seen it across the board.
But I'm sure
they're great
Michelle does
too.
a wonderful job for HMA.
Fair enough. I'll withdraw that comment. No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Jerry.
But, so when you're looking at the operating income, you see that 6.6 and it's down $11 million. Factoring in that 13 payments of HCV and admin fees in 2024 versus 11, which was that roughly $4.8 million a month. So that's a $9.6 million swing. So we had the 4.8 in plus that 6.6, that gets us 11.4. And then we back out the 4.8 from prior year because we had an extra payment. That gets us down to about 12.8. So I was trying to point out that our operating incomes, it's down roughly about 1.4 when we kind of factor in the 12 payments of each of the past couple of years. So I didn't want you to think we did as bad operating wise as it might look on the operating income side right now. So just want to point that out. And then the federal, on the next slide, we can go in a little bit more detail on the federal grants and New York State grants. Unless anybody else any other questions. So slide 6. So these are our significant federal programs. Generally, the variances are going to be very comparable to the revenue and expense. There is some slight timing transactions, based off year over year. But as you can see, our PBCA, we issued a lot more contracts. That's up $161 million in revenue. Also, the expense went up $161 million. The next line item is our disaster recovery. So Hurricane Sandy, Irene. So you can see that's down $87 million. I think we kind of expected that as we get farther and farther away from that. Those disasters, and the same, it's comparable to our decrease in the expenses of 78. Here, the housing choice voucher, this is once again where we had a difference we only had 11 payments in 2025 versus 13 in 2024. So that April got booked in 2024. So if we put that in 2025, it was about $48 million. So that actually gets us up to about $760 million. And then if you back out the $48 million from the 712 last year, gets us to about $656 million. So we actually did see about a $104 million increase in our housing choice voucher program, Section 8. And that kind of matches our...
Jeremy?
Yep.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Betsy Mallow. I'm not sure if you heard the chairman earlier just say that I think the board is comfortable if we don't go through line by line, but rather hit any big variances or anything that you would flag.
If there's something, if you can point to something that you see materiality in, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This will be the last one, just because that's the 1113. I just want to say because that looked like a $7 million decrease, but yeah. So just pointing that out. So the $100 million outside of that, and then the homeowner assistance fund also had that's decreasing significantly because that program's almost over. 2023 we had about $400 million, and then so that's really the significant changes on the federal grants. If you go to the state grants real quick, there really wasn't too much change. A lot of our grants we get up front, and then we kind of pay those out as we issue out awards. So most of it was just kind of related to our new grants. We had some NYSERDA, as well as that climate-friendly homes, LBI, things like that. And that kind of had a tune of an extra just $45 million or so. That's all I had then. Yeah, I don't know if any other questions or?
Great, thank you. And then do we have someone from E&Y as well?
Yeah, for AHC.
I was in LA like for 18 hours. I'm like, just try it.
Good morning, everyone. We just wrapped up the HC audit, and Danielle and Lou, they led the team this year. Just a few highlights. During fiscal 25, AHC remained an active and thriving corporation. Throughout the year, $26 million was approved as state appropriations to fund housing grants. And during fiscal 2025, AHC approved $35.2 million in grant awards. As of March 31st, cash held by AHC amounted to $10.6 million, and the corporation drew down $33.9 million in funds for the disbursement to housing grantees. In fiscal 2025, net cash provided by operating activities was $3.9 million. and just a few highlights. That concludes that. If Danielle has anything.
Yeah,
she'd
and
like
just a few comments on the audit process. So we are complete with the audit procedures for the fiscal year ending March 31st for the AHC agency. So happy to report really no findings to the committee. To note that we did not have any instances of identifying material weaknesses. We did not have instances of identifying audit differences, and really overall have issued a clean or unmodified opinion. So happy to report all of those results again this year for the agency and the audit. Continue to get the support of all the audits, the agency staff, and so appreciate Sonia and her team and really others throughout the organization, not just accounting, that ends up supporting an audit process. So appreciate everybody's input and cooperation in the audit process as well.
Thank you, and thank you to your team as well.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
Yep, all right. Now before the audit committees of AHC and HTFC, as well as the HTFC and AHC boards, our resolution is transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Great, thank you. Next item, item 4, internal audit report for WAPDIL monitoring and subgrantees. And this morning's presentation, Heidi Nark, Director of Internal Audit Control, will present this item in the next 2 items.
Great. Good morning, everyone. So the first item for me is the review and approval of the WAP bill audit. The Office of Internal Audit, we conducted an audit of the WAP bill program. When we initiated that audit, the objective was to look at the monitoring of WAP bill subgrantees. However, when we started our work and our planning work, we did need to alter that scope to look at technically the WAP subgrantees. They are all the same subgrantees at the time of the audit. So we had to do that, though, just because there wasn't much to look at from the WAP bill's perspective. The thought being that the requirements were the same for WAP as they were going to be for WAP bill in the areas that we had looked at. Overall, we found that management could improve the oversight of the WAP subgrantees. The whole report is appended. Specifically, our audit had looked at particular items such as the annual subgrantee evaluations, internal control questionnaires, the annual monitoring plans, the single audit reviews, as well as looking at the on-site, as well as the desk audit reviews. As a result of the audit, and just through talking with management, they were already making some changes. One of the hindrances is the lack of staff that they had, and they were already working on hiring during our audit. And other changes were immediately made to the monitoring, such as checklists, and they were very much committed to making some other changes in the near future. Our process will include following up on the recommendations that we made in the audit in approximately 6 months from the time we ended the audit, so this upcoming fall. Happy to answer any questions that anyone has, if any.
Okay, thanks, Heidi.
Now before the audit committee of HTFC, as well as the HTFC board, is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great. Item 5, Quality Assurance Improvement Program status. Heidi?
All right. Thank you. So this particular item is in regards to our quality assurance improvement program. The global internal audit standards require that internal audit does have a QAT program, is what it's referred to. This has both an internal and an external component to it. We conducted an internal quality assessment of our own office, looking at what we need to change, as well as what we do well already as it relates to the standards. There were new standards that were put in place January 9th. So we are still working on implementing some of those changes that came about with the new standards, such as having a strategic plan in place that is discussed with the board, as well as a performance metrics mechanism in place with the board. Both of those items are two items that I'm actively working on and planning on bringing to the next board meeting. That is our current corrective action plan on those two items. But in general, we made a lot of changes since I joined in September 2023, as well as the hiring of some other staff. So some of the foundational components like policies and procedures, our new internal audit charter, that stuff all looks great and is in compliance with the standards. The other component is our external quality assessment. This has to be handled by a certified internal auditor external to our organization. I have already been in contact with both budget and procurement, and we are taking necessary steps to be able to hire this person to conduct our EQA once we have some audits under our belt, right? So in order for an external quality assessor to look at our office and our functions, we do have to have some more work under to be able to handle that.
Heidi, I'm not sure if you heard that question. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
Is this a full-time or a part-time position?
So the external quality assessor, that is very, very part-time. It's just the hiring of an external person that would take approximately 3 to 6 weeks to look at what we do in-house. So they have either a template or a checklist. They have certain components that they walk through to assess our office. But it's just really, hiring of a CPA or an independent person to do this analysis. But it's very, very part-time. It's actually the total cost of this is expected to be under $40,000, and it's really expected to just be a few weeks total work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Thanks, Heidi.
You're welcome.
All right. Now before the audit committee of HTFC as well as the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Okay, item 6, recapture audit follow-up. Heidi.
All right, thank you. Every year, the Office of Internal Audit will plan on bringing forth the overall status of prior audit recommendations. So that's what we're doing here. Last fiscal year, we were able to follow up on a prior audit recommendation specific to the recapture audit. This initial audit was brought to the board in October 2023. The purpose of this particular audit was to evaluate compliance with federal laws and regulations that require the ID and collection of CDBG-DR amounts overpaid to housing program applicants. The original audit had several findings relating primarily to legal and the housing program. Our office went ahead and we met with the applicable legal and housing staff. We met with them and discussed the status of each recommendation, what changes occurred since the time of the initial audit. And I'm happy to report through those meetings and through some additional test work that we did have to conduct to be able to provide full assurance that the issues were in fact corrected. All of the issues that the staff were in agreement with have in fact been corrected. There was one particular item, just to note, that legal had disagreed with the finding at the time of the initial audit, and that's still their stance on that item. So that's okay. Management is always allowed to either disagree with the finding or even accept risk with a specific finding for that matter. So we have no issue with that, and I'm happy to report that the items have been addressed or, we're satisfied with the changes that were made since that original audit as it relates to this matter. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Now before the audit committees of HTFC as well as the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great, thank you. Item 7, Rouse Brunswick Senior Housing Brunswick Rensselaer County Community Investment Award. And this item will be presented by Alexa Sewell, Senior Vice President, Multifamily Finance and Development, along with the next two items. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning. Nice to see you all. This first item that I'm presenting today is seeking your approval for a $2.2 million Community Investment Fund award to Rouse RPC, which would preserve an existing 86-unit low-income project currently operating under a housing trust fund regulatory agreement. This project is located in the town of Brunswick in Rensselaer County and was originally awarded the HTF award in 1998. Since then, the project has experienced extensive capital needs that need to be addressed in order for it to remain habitable and viable. The scope of work is going to include, but not be limited to, replacement of windows, the roof, heating systems, and some accessibility upgrades. There's additional funding coming into this preservation. In addition to this SIF award, from an M&T permanent loan and a contribution from project reserves. So requesting your approval for $2.2 million SIF award.
Questions?
How much in total is coming into it?
From us, 2.2.
No, in total from the, do you know from the other sources?
5.737.
Is that
All
what it says?
in
Okay.
is
Oh, there it is. Yeah, yeah.
5.7.
No, I mean, I think it's just great that if we haven't had to put money in before, that it's 86 units for 5.7 million is like a good, like,
Good bang.
a good bang for the buck. And I just think, especially given it was 1990 in the 90s.
Right.
So I just think as we look at like starting to maybe understand, especially for existing owners, the scorecard on how much they're coming back for per unit would be an interesting sort of measurement on overall performance, because this is a fantastic project, it looks like.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a really good point about thinking about sort of future awards being predicated on how well we're performing on past awards.
Exactly.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
No, okay. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Next item, awards for 2024 9% multifamily RFP. Is there, this is the item that
You're recusing from.
I know, but is there something that's being removed from this?
No, that's number 10.
Yeah, okay. Alexa, please.
Okay, you may be aware that in March of this year, HCR made our 2024 RFP awards for the 9% low-income housing tax credits. At that time, 28 awards were made, totaling 1,878 units that would be created or preserved through the LIHTC program. Today, I'm asking you for approval for the subsidy amounts for 6 of those projects. These 6 projects have construction finance closing targets prior to the next board meeting. So we're going to be tranching these requests to you, and this is the first tranche of projects. These awards are for 6 projects. They total 374 units and $41.4 million in subsidy. I can briefly summarize the projects because you haven't heard about them before this board meeting. The first is Cortland Housing and Assistant Council's River Street Senior Apartments. This is a 53-unit new construction senior project in the city of Cortland. It includes 12 ESHI supported units for seniors. This project is getting a senior housing program award of $6.5 million. Second project on the list is Pathstone Housing Action Corporation's Creekside Clearing redevelopment, which is a redevelopment and expansion of an existing HCR multifamily property in the town of Livonia. The project is going to include 16 new units. This is in a well-resourced area, and the subsidy here that we're asking for is a CEI, a Clean Energy Initiative award of $688,000. The third one is also a Pathstone project. Pathstone was the developer this year who received 2 awards, our only developer who received 2 awards. This is a 65-unit new construction project, also in a well-resourced area in the town of Deerfield in Oneida County. This is a 7,800 square foot commercial space proposed as a childcare facility. The project received a $5 million housing trust fund, 1.64 million SIF award, and $3 million new construction award. The fourth project is the Lofts at Lidauer Park. It's 73-unit mixed-use infill new construction on a vacant parcel in Gloversville in Fulton County. This is going to have 7 units set aside for homeless veterans and will include 2 storefront retail spaces. We're asking for a SIF and new construction award for this project. Next is Hogarth's Eagle Gardens. It's a new construction project, 83 units, integrated supportive housing project in the Bronx. It includes 50 units for homeless individuals with a diagnosis of HIV/AIDS. It will have support of a 1515 rental and services contract. The subsidy here is new construction and $10 million in our supportive housing opportunity program. And lastly is THA Development Corporation's Hillview Commons, which is 52 units of new construction, senior housing on a vacant parcel of land in the town of Tonawanda. That project is intended to replace and expand 41 units of obsolete existing public housing. This project is receiving $5.16 million in home should it be approved by the board.
Great, thanks, Alexa. And so how many tranches will there be? This is the first 6 projects?
This is the first 6. It depends on when the next projects are ready to close. We hope that they'll all be here within the year, but sometimes they're not.
Okay,
I
thanks.
do have to recuse. There
Yeah,
are a couple CPC.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks.
All right.
Great projects though, diverse set all over the state. I think some nice innovations like on the passive house for seniors will benefit a lot on energy usage and utilities and things. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay. So a note for the record that the chairman and Ms. McEwen will recuse themselves from this vote. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Okay, next item is the item 9, the NEST, Niagara Falls, Niagara County ESD funds. Alexa?
Okay, so this is a 9% project actually that was awarded last year in our 2023 round that had $1.23 million of ESD funding in it. The board has previously awarded all of the HCR sources and authorized those, but ESD has since come to us and asked us to administer their 2 grant amounts. So it's $1 million in it's $1 million from ESD and $320,000 from the Niagara Development Corporation. So we're just asking you all for the authorization to administer these funds.
Previously approved. This was previously.
The HCR funds were previously approved.
Is it typical for us to administer on behalf of EDC?
We do administer on behalf of EDC, yes. It's actually can be a bit easier because we have the relationship with the project and we're lending in all the other sources, so it just sort of streamlines their interaction with the state.
Definitely. Anything that makes it easier when you have a capital stack that complex.
Yeah. Yeah, this is you're right, there's a lot of sources here.
Thank you.
All right. A note for the record that the chairman will recuse himself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Great,
Thank you.
Okay, next item 10, New York State Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Economic Development Awards and Amendment. And the presentation this morning by Crystal Loeffler, President, Office of Community Renewal for this item and the next 3 items.
And this is the one where the reso was removed.
Good morning. As you know, the Office of Community Renewal makes $15 million in CDBG funding available for economic development activities annually. This month, we're advancing 5 award recommendations that total just over $1.1 million. These include new awards for Madison County to assist Carmeli's Cafe and Cazenovia, Niagara County to assist Polaris Cold Storage Corporation, the town of Jay to launch a local microenterprise program, and then 2 award increases for the city of Amsterdam and Fulton County to renew and continue existing microenterprise programs locally. These proposed awards are expected to assist 44 businesses and create jobs that benefit low and moderate income individuals. Full details are in the memos and briefing sheets, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, there's another project listed here, the city of Geneva.
Yes, the project sponsor withdrew their application just after publishing, so we've adjusted the resolution for this one, but the memo did not get updated in the package.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 11, New York State Community Development Block Grant Imminent Threat Awards. Crystal?
Thank you. During the last few months, we've advanced some projects under what we've been referring to as the Vacant Property Clearance Program. We have more recently rolled that activity into another existing activity that we simply refer to as imminent threat. The idea is just to offer a single open round funding opportunity to support projects that require urgent action to address local health and safety issues. So this month, we're requesting approval to issue 1 award of $159,300 to assist the Village of Whitehall in Washington County. The funding is to be used to assist in the demolition and related costs to clear a vacant and structurally unsound structure. The details are in the memo, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
All right. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Item 12, Annual Rural and Neighborhood Preservation Program Awards. Crystal?
Thank you. $26.8 million was allocated this year for the neighborhood and rural preservation programs. These are annual programs that have been funded for decades and provide administrative support to a network of 190 housing and community development non-for-profits throughout the state that we refer to as rural and neighborhood preservation companies. OCR is requesting board approval to award funds and enter into grant agreements with up to 60 rural preservation companies, 130 neighborhood preservation companies, and the 2 associated coalitions. The full list of organizations that participate in the program is included in the memo, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I just think these are important organizations in the state in terms of providing services in rural communities, and I think it's great that we work, and it's a great program.
All right. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Item 13, Downtown Revitalization Initiative and New York Forward Amendments. Crystal, last item.
Thanks. The Department of State leads the Downtown Revitalization Initiative and the newer, smaller version called New York Forward. HCR and Empire State Development, or ESD, participate in the planning process in those communities and then handle contract administration for awarded projects that fit within a particular agency's portfolio. This month, we're requesting 2 contract amendments for existing awards and existing contracts that we administer. The first is that a large DRI project in the city of Dunkirk that was actually contracted with ESD did not proceed. And in discussion with DOS and ESD, DOS has requested a reallocation of that large award among multiple projects. So this reallocation provides $300,000 in additional funding to support small project grants under a contract that we administer. Sorry, I know it's a little bit confusing with all of the agencies involved, but it's requesting a $300,000 amendment to our existing DRI contract with the city of Dunkirk. And then the second item, similarly, is an existing award under New York Forward in the village of Hamilton in Madison County. As the process has advanced, the village has determined that it doesn't have the administrative capacity to administer the contract. So we're requesting approval to amend the contract to change the entity that's administering it to a non-for-profit called the Partnership for Community Development.
Great, thank you.
Answer any questions?
Okay. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 14, seeker resolutions. Heather Spitzberg, Director of Environmental Unit, will present this item. Heather?
Good morning. Today I'm presenting two projects for seeker classification and determination. The first is to classify the Van Cortlandt Avenue Apartments project at 10 Van Cortlandt Avenue in the Bronx as an unlisted action and recommend a negative declaration. The project does not have any unmitigated environmental impacts. The second is to classify the 1 Carlton Green project in the town of Islip as a type 1 action and recommend a negative declaration. The project is type 1 because of its proximity to historic resources on which the State Historic Preservation Office determined there would be no adverse effects. The EPA also provided a letter stating that the site has been remediated and continues to be protective of human health. There are no other unmitigated adverse environmental impacts. Further details are in the memo, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Heather.
Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion and second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 15, Meadowbrook Apartments, Newfane, Niagara County Clean Energy Initiative Award. Russell Ubley, Vice President, Multifamily Finance and Development, will present this item in the next two. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning. Yeah, usually when we do the board meetings together, the CEI funding is approved simultaneously with the HFA financing, but since we have separate meetings this month here separately just for the Clean Energy Initiative Award, all three of the projects that I'm presenting were previously awarded by the HFA board earlier this month for the HFA financing. So I'll be fairly brief on this. It just pertains to the CEI. Meadowbrook Apartments and the following project, Walden Park, are both USDA 515 federal finance projects. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Rural Development Housing and Community Facilities Program Office for affordable rental housing for very low and moderate income families and seniors. Meadowbrook is one of these properties built in 1978. In addition to the HFA financing that they're getting, they're also being awarded clean energy funds in the amount of, I think, $516,000, which is about $20,000 per unit. The qualification for clean energy basically means that they'll be converting to all electric for heating, cooling, and domestic hot water. They meet the 2020 Enterprise Green Communities criteria, and they'll also feature Energy Star kitchen appliances and light fixtures, replacement of exterior and interior windows, doors, and upgraded electrical services and thermostats to help meet their qualification.
Does NYSERDA approve them individually, or they just approve one allocation for the year?
Each project is reviewed individually. So.
Okay. It's a bummer. Does that delay it?
There could be some, it kind of extend the process, but I mean, they have to, we try to coordinate with our financing timing with their reviews, so usually they get in ahead of time.
Just interesting to know. It would be easier if they just approved a box and then let you guys advance it out there.
Yes.
Just constantly thinking of ways to make the process more efficient.
Getting money out the door is always the
yes.
hardest thing.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. I know for the record that the chairman will recuse himself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 16, Walden Park, Lockport, Niagara County another CEI award.
Yeah, similar to Meadowbrook, this is a similar project. I'll just say that the difference here, they're getting a little bit more per unit, 21,500, because their Walden will also qualify for replacement of exterior insulation and siding, which is another benchmark for them to qualify for the CEI. So the total amount here is about $1,311,500.
Great.
No? Okay. A note for the record that the chairman will recuse himself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Item 17, Fulton Park Plaza, New York, Kings County, another CEI award. Last one, Russell.
Sure. It's my third round here for Fulton Park. It was previously awarded for the HFA financing and for Sunny Mae because they're getting mortgage insurance on their bond financed first mortgage loan. We just closed on the acquisition financing for this project earlier this week, so it's moving along well. We're expected to close on the rehab financing next month in the next bond resolution. It's also qualifying for some clean energy initiative. It's a very robust scope of work in this project. Fulton Park is a Mitchell-Lama. It's suffered in recent years from deferred maintenance, deterioration of a lot of its major systems. So in addition to the rehabilitation work, it's an opportunity for us to go in there and do some additional energy efficiency upgrades while we're in the building. It helps, it's a good opportunity to invest in that. The scope of work, it's about 3.8 million and change, which is about 13,500 per unit. There's going to be upgrades to the heating, ventilation, and cooling systems, converting the existing inefficient baseboard electric heating to a higher efficient EPOCA unit system, along with conversion of domestic hot water to electric heat pumps. There'll be new all-electric stoves for tenants and new efficient LED lighting. There'll also be some roof replacement and thermal protection, which is another qualification for the CEI. So it's, again, a good opportunity here while we're in the building to do more than just the typical substantial rehabilitation that these projects require.
Thanks, Russell.
All right. A note for the record that the chairman will recuse himself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you, Russell. Item 18, Middlesex Gardens Apartments, Fredonia, Chautauqua County Clean Energy Initiative. And this item will be presented by Burke Blackman, Director of Distressed Asset Initiatives.
Good morning, everyone. So this is a request to approve $1 million in Clean Energy Initiative funds to an HFA small building program project that was approved at HFA's June 12th meeting. So similar scenario to Russell here. This project is a substantial rehab and all-electric retrofit of a mostly vacant 40-unit low-rise complex in Fredonia, Chautauqua County. Upon completion, the project will consist of 16 one-bedroom units and 24 two-bedroom units, affordable at no more than 80% AMI with all utilities included in rent. The requested CEI award, which amounts to $25,000 per unit, will assist with the project's full electrification, including switching from gas-fired boilers to geothermal heat pumps for heating and cooling and hot water, as well as enhanced insulation and ventilation, therefore qualifying for the full $25,000 per unit of CEI. A backup battery system will also be installed to provide power in the event of outages and emergencies. Project amenities here include free off-street parking, access to newly installed EV charging stations, so there'll be EV charging as well, on-site laundry, and landscaped green space. And if approved, this will be our third small building project to couple with CEI funds. And I should also mention that this developer is a repeat small building program borrower who was the first such project to receive a CEI award. With PLP, I should say, with a small building program. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Great, thanks, Burke.
All right. I note for the record that Ms. McEwen is recusing herself from this vote. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 19, Annual Report on Operations and Accomplishments. Melina Stratos, Deputy Counsel of Compliance, will present this item and the next two.
Good morning, everyone. I'm stepping in for Will today. So HTFC is required to issue an annual report setting forth its operations and accomplishments for its Paris filings. As detailed in the report and the materials, HTFC operates through broad offices of HCR, including program offices for home ownership and community development, affordable housing preservation and sustainability, multifamily affordable housing financing and development, and resilient home and community development. HTFC's report on operations and accomplishments is included in the board materials, and it's requested that the board authorize the adoption and publication of the report. Any questions?
Great, thank you.
All right. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
Thank you. Item 20, mission statement, performance report, and mission statement. Melina?
All right, this is another Paris filing requirement. HTFC is required to have a brief mission statement expressing its purpose and goals. No amendments have been proposed to the mission statement this year, so the mission statement and mission statement performance report may be found in the board materials. And at this time, we're respectfully seeking a readoption of the mission statement and approval of the mission statement performance report for our filings. Any questions? All right. Now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously.
I forgot, I did have one change to the wording. Instead of decarbonization, just sustainability of low-income housing.
Sustainability of what?
Of low-income housing in the mission statement.
Why? Also a minor.
It can be decarbonization and sustainability. That's fine. I think it can be both specifically. That's fine.
As long as we're correcting, there's a minor nit here, which is infrastructure, not infrastructures. The 4O of infrastructure is infrastructure.
Okay. Perfect. So then with this vote, can we all vote on these changes as well?
Yeah, I would just then, one more thing, resiliency, I think is
You
important.
want to add, so sustainability of low-income housing and resiliency.
Decarbonization, sustainability, and resiliency of low-income housing.
It does say resiliency later.
I guess it's, never mind, I guess it's double, it's down, but it's fine.
Okay, so decarbonization and sustainability of low-income housing. So we have James's edit, decarbonization and sustainability of low-income housing. And then we have the infrastructure, not infrastructures change. So if we can include those in our votes, that way we will be sure to include this in our filing. So now before the HTFC board is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Beautiful. The motion is carried and the resolution adopted.
It's a beautiful motion.
Big, beautiful motion.
The New Yorker in me is coming out.
Big, beautiful motion. All right, item 21, board and committee self-evaluations. Melina?
All right, last Paris item for discussion. So the agency must conduct an annual eval of its performance. The members of HTFC, its governance committee and audit committee have completed an annual review for the period ending March 31st, 2025. This year's assessment shows a high degree of unanimity among board and committee members, with almost all board members responding agree or somewhat agree to the various criteria. I'll note one member somewhat disagreed in 3 areas, but generally speaking, this does show a level of unanimity and is a good indicator that the board and committees are satisfied with the way their fellow board members are approaching their tasks. At this time, we're requesting that the board approve the annual board governance committee and audit committee self-evaluations. Any questions? All right. Now before the HTFC audit and governance committees, as well as the HTFC board, is a resolution transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Thank you. Item 22, annual procurement reports for fiscal year ending March 31, 2025. Morning. Lisa Pagnosi, Vice President, Procurements and Contracts, will present this item.
This is for both AHC and HTFC, right?
Yep.
Good morning. There is nothing out of the ordinary to report for AHC's procurement report. They only had 2 contracts. One was and they're both very small contracts, a little over $50,000 combined with the 2 of them for the year. A payroll contract, which was exempt or received a waiver rather for MWBE participation. And the other one was for $20,000 $50 for independent auditor. I don't know if they have any MWB participation on this particular contract, but I know that in the upcoming contract, which will be approved hopefully after these annual reports, they have committed to MWB participation in the amount of 30% and SDVO participation for 6%. Are there any questions regarding the HC annual report? Okay, thank you. For HTFC, there's also nothing out of the ordinary report to report in this report, but I do want to highlight some of the MWB participation. We broke down the overall there's a participation of 62.7% for MWB participation, but we further broke it down into 3 additional categories. We only receive credit for state participation, but nevertheless, we do adhere to the agency's participation goal for federal contracts. So for state-funded contracts, so the overall goal of all contracts is 62.7%, 53.5% for MBE and WBE is 9.1%. For state-funded contracts, the overall participation was 21.6%. With no participation for MBEs and 21.6% for state-funded contracts. For federally funded contracts, we received 61% participation, 51.5% for MBE participation, and 9.5% for WBE participation. And then we had another category of contracts with mixed funding, both federal and state money. We received 100% participation for MBE participation. Any questions regarding this report?
Thank you. We'll take these up together.
Yes. Now before the HTFC Governance Committee, as well as the HTFC and AHC boards, are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolutions adopted.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, item 23, independent auditor services contract with E&Y, and Sonia Kinko, Vice President and Controller, will present this item. Along with Lisa and Daryl Johnson. Good morning.
As required by the guidelines in Section 2879 of the Public Authorities Law, the members and directors must approve all procurement contracts that exceed 1 year in duration of $100,000. Under the respective charters of the agency's audit committees, the members and directors of such audit committees are charged with, among other things, the selection, retention, and termination of the agency's external auditor. The independent auditor contract with each of the agencies and Ernst & Young is being submitted to the audit committees for review and approval. If the contracts are approved, the contracts will be presented to the board of the respective agencies. Okay. On February 12th, RFP was issued for the independent auditors, and unlike previous RFP processes, this RFP did not require the proposer to be a Big Four. None of the 3 proposers that submitted bids were MWBE or SDVOB firms. So Ernst & Young was selected as the firm. 12 firms we submitted our RFP to the New York State contract reporter. An email notification of the RFP was sent to the incumbent, and 12 firms on the bidders list. There were 32 MBE firms, 18 WBEs, and 3 SDVOBs. Ernst & Young was selected due to their strong proposal, and their experience in housing audits exceeded all the other bidders combined. EY is committed to meeting the MWBE and SDVOB participation goals, and they will be working with Mitchell & Titus, Susan A. Rich, which is a WBE, and RJ Williams Group, which is an SDVOB. It is respectfully requested that the audit committees approve the continued retention of EY to act in the capacity of the agency's independent auditor for a 5-year period with 2 optional 2-year
renewals and 1 optional 1-year renewal.
The option is at our choice?
Yes, yes.
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. The fact that there were no MWBEs that applied, could you just give me a little bit of why you think that happened? Is it because of the structure of the RFP? Is it because of the kind of work and there's no company that does it? I just want to understand why no one applied.
I'm just going to assume that it's because of the sophistication and complexity of these audits that we did not get a MBE or WBE to apply.
And is there anything the agency can do to open a pathway into this work for MWBEs moving forward?
Well, they're looking for direct. We think Mitchell Titus may have been a firm that could have applied, but they have a partnership with ENY. I'm going to assume that they did not want to lose their partnership with ENY over this contract. It would have been a conflict of interest. We did research and worked with our DECO department to contact and reach all of the certified M's and W's that were available in the ESD directory. So we could look again in 5 years and see if there are other eligible firms that have entered the field.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? No? All right. Now before the AHC Audit Committee as well as the AHC Board are resolutions transmitted in connection with this item. Assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Okay, the next 13 items are consent items, and there will be no presentation unless requested.
All right. Now before the HTFC Governance Committee, as well as the HTFC Board, as well as the AHC Board, are resolutions transmitted in connection with these items 24 through, bear with me, 24 through 36. Assuming the motion and seconds previously recorded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried and the resolutions are adopted.
Great, thank you. And the next 8 items, 37 through 44, are information items, and there will be no presentation unless requested. And I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Well, now, okay. So assuming the motion is second previously recorded, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried and the meetings are adjourned. Next meeting's on July 17th.
Yeah, July 17th. Great, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Leticia, we can
Thank
stop
you.
the recording.
Bye, thank you.
Record.